Hi everyone, I hope you are all doing well. So all the snow has melted. We are in early April and I'm just walking around just to assess what the garden is looking like in early spring. So you'll see how different it will be later on in the season. So good news, these are the daffodils that I planted last fall and they're all coming up. I did lose, I think, one just over here. Something dug it up, but I'm pretty sure it's not squirrels because I don't think squirrels like the bulbs of daffodils. And here in this island bed, 3 bulbs that I have here, there is some damage on them, but I think compared to the bulbs that I have in the other part of the garden at the front, this is not too bad. These are the autumn joy sedum, and you can kind of see that there's a little green growth peeking through, and the old growth, I need to cut them all the way down to the ground. That I will do another day because it's still quite cold out today. And I'm happy to report that for the first time, I have tulips that come up from last year in this front garden. In the past, I've always planted double tulips, and I don't think they come back and they naturalize well for us here. I do have some that naturalize in the back, but for some very odd reason, for the last 7 years or so, I have not had double tulips come up and naturalize in the front garden. So I'm actually quite thrilled that the single tulips, actually they're single early tulips, are coming back this year, and I don't have to worry about planting them perhaps for another year or two. And here in the middle of the garden, you can see this is my quick fire fab that I planted fall 2 years ago. It was beautiful last year. There is one big long stem here that's broken, but I have a lot of old growth that still survive. So I'm hoping this will be a much better plant or bigger plant this year. And just in case you don't know much about this new variety, if you're looking for some panicle hydrangea that's early blooming and beautiful throughout the entire summer, this is the one to get. Because this, I think, was the earliest blooming hydrangea for me in the garden last year. For me, in our zone, I think it bloomed at the end of June or early July, but I think for a panicle hydrangea, that's pretty early. So love this plant. And here's that limelight stander that I had planted 3 years ago. I mean, it's not looking so pretty right now because so I think a couple months ago in one of the storms, we actually had this whole container fell over, and I thought I had lost this trunk. So I came out, tied it all together, and I took some wire, and I started tying the canopy together too, just to kind of help it stay upright. But I just checked the stem, and the plant is still okay. So I'm really thankful for that. So just in case you're wondering if yours actually survived the winter or not, this is how I normally test. So if you can see this part here, I don't know if you can see it. You can see I scratched a little bit of the stem, right? Well, that means it's dead. You can see no green growth, but I did it one more test below. You can kind of see. There you go. I hope you can see. Actually, I'll do it one more time so you can see it. If you scratch below that, you can see that stem. Oh, there you go. Can you see that? There it is. There's some green underneath, so that means it actually survived. And so I'm so thankful for that. And here's one of the 2 vanilla strawberry standers that I had last year. And I don't remember, in one of the storms that we had during the summer, I lost that stem due to the heavy rain that we had. So I thought I would probably lose this trunk, but I checked the stems here. All of these have survived, so I am very thankful for that as well. And the firelight that I had in the back garden last year also survived as well. So thankful for everything. Here in this front garden, everything actually survived, but we did get a lot of damage on all of these plants in the middle here from all the heavy snow that we had piled on top. And luckily, I pruned off all of the blooms in the fall last year or early winter last year. So this quickfire standard canopy actually is looking pretty nice. I think from this angle, you can see that the canopy looks pretty good, right? We were seeing a little bit of the trunk here. It was leaning over that way a little bit. So we decided to try to correct the stander a little bit so it stands more upright. Again, lots of garbage that flew from the streets. So the bulbos here, you can see lots of damage. Here's a quick fire, little lime punch. Lots of damage on that as well. But I'm not to worry about these panicle hydrangeas because they grow back pretty quickly. But because we have so much damage here at the front garden, it's probably one of the reasons why many people say why, their bulbos grow to 3 to 4 feet tall. But mine usually stay within about 2 to 3 feet because, like I said, all the new growth that had to come up from the ground and all the damage that we have, these will never get to grow to full potential. And here my boomerang lilac, you can see lots of broken stems and so on as well. So I need to prune that back, but you can kind of see it's starting to see a little bit of the growth there. So excited. I love this. This is one of the most beautiful things in early spring for us. So can't wait to see it bloom. And here's one of the Anna's magic ball. It has some damage on this side, so I may have to come back and prune some of the broken stems on there. This one is not too bad, but it seems to be splitting right in the middle. So I think all that snow that we had piled on top must have had some pressure on it. But this one, like I said, I need to cut that back. Here's the forgetting the names, Limelight Prime, that's it. In the pot that I had last year, everything survived, so really nice. I may have to prune a bit because I think it's starting to look a little bit sort of wide for me in a pot, so I like it a bit more narrow. But I'm thinking of transfer into the ground, but haven't had a chance to really think about it yet. And all of these plants in the pot all survive, including the one that I grew from seed 2 years ago. It's got 3 stems on there, so I'm hoping to perhaps make one stander out of that and then use the other 2 to root to see what the plant looks like. For the one that I grew from seed, I actually don't really know what the blooms look like because by the time it started blooming for me, it was so late in the season. It didn't get to, fully open up, and then the cold weather hit it so that it snapped and killed the blooms. And this one is, I think it's a surprise for me because I've never had hydrangeas that are rated to zone 5. So this one is a tiny tough stuff serratia mountain hydrangea. Now all of these stems I think are maybe dead, I'm not sure, but we're gonna wait till May to cut them out. But underneath, you see that? Lots and lots of new growth, so that's pretty amazing. I didn't think it was going to survive in the planter and winterize well in the winter, but you know what, now I know anything that's rated to zone 5 is actually able to be winterized in these pots. And I don't know if you noticed, but I love these pots. These are the 2 or double layered pots. And because of that, I think it may help to insulate the roots of the plants better. Of all the hydrangeas that I have in pots, I think I only lost one this winter. And I did check the stem and scratch throughout all the parts of the entire plant, and it looks like it's pretty dead. And I think it probably because the hole or the drainage where the water comes out might be clogged, and the water built up in the tank below because from all the melting snow that we had this past winter might have drowned the roots of this plant. I don't know, but that's a possibility. Everything else seemed to be okay though, except that one. So I'm not sure if whether it was exposed to too much dry wind from our winter or the clogged drainage hole. I'm not sure, but anyway, just one, so it's not too bad, I think. And here are all of the seedlings that I terminated from seeds last year. You can kind of see there's lots of growth on them, except I think maybe 2 are dead. Like this one, for something, I see some green here, but the stem here is all dead. So it might be coming from the soil, and I'm not sure, but I see growth everywhere except maybe this one. I'm not quite sure if it's okay or not, but very, very excited to see how these will look this year. So here's the back garden, and I don't know if you know, but I have some of the incredible hydrangeas in the pots. I have one here, and I also have another one there. And even though we get very little sun in this corner against the wall. I think we pretty much get about 1 or 2 hours in the late evening, and it bloomed beautifully throughout the entire summer. So really, really loving that location of the Incredible. So of all the plants, I think the only one that I was kind of worried about is the Avid Austin roses, and fortunately they all survived. Thank goodness. There even seems to be some green growth on the roses as well. I haven't done any pruning, but I know they are still alive because look at that, all these little growth in here, and I've checked, they're all doing well. So I'm really, really thankful for that, because last year this was the last one to bloom. I think I didn't see any growth until June, I think, when I was about to dig it out and throw, and I found some green growth underneath. So really, really thankful for that. And unlike the plants or the hydrangeas in the front garden, these are doing beautifully, no breakage whatsoever. So I'm really, really thankful for that. But I noticed earlier when I was looking at the roses, the David Austin roses. So I've got, I think the one that didn't survive is this one right here. I think it's the Evelyn. And for some odd reason, something came along and ate it all to the ground. I don't see any of the branches that were left from last season. So I'm hoping that I might be okay and I might get some new growth from the ground. Other than that, the Litchfield Angel as well as the Rosemary or Marie Rose is doing beautifully as well. Lots and lots of growth on here. I don't know if you can see this, but see that? Beautiful. I'm so looking forward to this. All of these are new stems that came up from the ground from last year. So I'm going to hold off a little bit until I prune these. But I typically prune them to about 18 inches to the ground, and also removing all of the dead stems. And here's one of the two eglantines, David Austin roses. I have the other one there in the back there. It's shaded by this lava lamp, so it didn't do so well, but I still see some green growth there. But this one is doing beautifully. And I'm looking at the blue jangles, the mop have hydrangeas that I have here. Now this is still early, so I don't see, any green on the stems yet, but I did look below ground, and there's lots of new growth coming up. So I'm hoping it's going to be doing okay this year, and I will get some, blooms in early summer. So that pretty much concludes today's video. I want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope to give you more updates of the garden in this coming season. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.